The low USIC News.
And welcome to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. It is a beautiful Monday, and we got quite a bit to get to. So we're gonna intro this real quick. We're going to go right into the news because we have an entire weekend worth of sports to catch up on, plus previewing what to look for during the week. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number if you'd like to be part of the show. We always accept phone calls, any kind of phone calls, happy, angry, sad, crying. If something happened to you, give us a call. We'll talk about it. But this is the Scoreboard here on WSIC, and I'm your host, Joe Berg. Let's get right into things today with an update on this Northwestern situation, because if you remember over the past week or so, I've been talking about a lot of lawsuits against Northwestern, including multiple players from the football team. We have a few more players to talk about. The football head coach being fired, baseball head coach being fired, old athletic director is in some turmoil here. There's a lot going on. And now earlier today at about 4 o'clock, it was reported that former Northwestern football player Lloyd Yates followed a lawsuit Monday against the university, outlining a brainwashing culture of hazing and abuse that became normalized. Yates was a former quarterback and wide receiver from 2015 to 2017, and he became the first plaintiff to identify himself in the lawsuit against the school. Now, if you are familiar, we have multiple different attorneys on this. We have multiple different filings and suits. And there's another one. This time from the volleyball team. A former Northwestern volleyball player filed a lawsuit on Monday in Illinois, claiming that the school and its athletic department were negligent in response to a hazing incident that occurred in the spring of 2021. This is getting bad for Northwestern, and things are not looking good for anybody there, for the president, for the coaches, for the athletic director. There's a thing going on at this school that I think can be brought about and brought into public eye that can be applied to every other school here going forward, because we know hazing's been a thing. We always hear about some kind of hazing incident, and back 20 years ago it was probably a lot worse. But right now there is something going on at Northwestern that can be changing the way that people get initiated into a sports team. It used to be hazing. If you're part of a fraternity or a sorority, it's, hey, you got to drink all this alcohol until you throw up. If you're on a football team, I don't think I really want to outline the allegations that Lloyd Yates was throwing out there, because they are quite graphic. I'm not going to lie. And we've talked about it a little bit. I think I acknowledged exactly what was going on one time, which I think is enough. Maybe in a week or so, if this is still going on, we'll recap. But I don't want to get too deep into what he has laid out here for us. And with Yates being the first one to become a name, maybe more people will start to go forward and try to not only shed how much hazing was actually going on at this school, but allow for others who feel maybe like they can't come forward right now. Putting a name to this might help some of those players, but I don't want to get, like I said, I don't want to get too far into this. I just want to update it right now, because this is going to be a very long process coming up with lawsuits, and I'm sure people are going to get fired and people are going to step down, and Northwestern's athletic program could look a lot different over the next, if they're even NCAA eligible here in the next couple of years, because this is some pretty bad stuff that's being outlined. We're going to talk about the NFL a little bit. I've been mentioning the start of training camp and how we have teams finally reporting, rookies finally reporting. We had some more rookies signing their deals. Anthony Richardson has finally signed his deal with the Colts. A lot of these guys, I just kind of assumed they signed their deal. We never really heard anything about these guys being unsigned, but he signs his deal, and we had a issue with another injury before the season's even going to start. Bills running back Nyheim Hines expected to miss the entire season. Here's the story on this one. This is a tough one. Hines sustained a knee injury when he was struck by a jet ski and will at some point require surgery. He is going to miss the entire year. He was sitting on a stationary jet ski when he was struck, and that being reported by ESPN. Man, and the Bills can't catch a break right now. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about how Stephon Diggs wasn't very happy, and that became a whole story, and now one of their top running backs. The Bills are a team that I've been talking about. They should have drafted a first-round running back. And I know, I'm kind of contradicting myself here because I said there's no reason to draft a running back in the first round. Well, when you have a team that is ready to win and one of your weak points on offense is the running back position, and you have nobody else to really go after, your receiving core is very good, defense is looking good, why aren't you taking a top-tier running back? They haven't done it for years. And now they're missing one of their best ones. And Nyheim Hines, if we remember, right after the Damar Hamlin injury, he took the opening kickoff of the very next game to the house. And then later in the game, he took a second kick all the way to the house. So the Bills are losing a star player. And it's a team that I think they're going to really need a running back here. And they traded for Hines last year at the deadline, which was a good move, Now, they still have running backs like Damian Harris and Latavius Murray over there. And last year's fifth-round pick, Zach Moss. But are any of those names really people to get excited about? I mean, maybe Zach Moss because he's young, but Damian Harris... Latavius Murray has been a career backup. It's going to be tough for the Bills to get this offense going. And they're a team, and I wanted to preview them a little bit later as we get closer to the start of the NFL season, but the Bills are a team that right now they're kind of going through a wave of competitiveness. Like they made it to the championship game and then they got eliminated early, and they make a deep run and then they're going to get eliminated early. I think we could see a year where the Bills have a down year, and not like their typical down years when they only win 3 games. I'm talking about a down year where they probably make the playoffs and could be an early exit this year, because that division is not the cakewalk that it was. The Dolphins are going to be better. The Jets are going to be a lot better. Patriots, I mean, whatever. We can kind of forget about the Patriots for now. But this is not going to be an easy division by any means for the Bills. So losing a running back of Nyheim Hines standard this early in the year, already knowing that he's going to be missing the entire season, it's tough. We're going to keep it on the NFL a little bit when we return. Hopefully you keep it right here on WSIC. This is the Scoreboard. I'm Joe Berg, and like always, if you'd like to call in, the number is 704-873-1400. Take a quick break, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Take your favorite WSIC shows with you anytime by going to WSIC News wherever you get your podcasts.
WSIC Community Calendar.
Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more info, visit downtownmooresville.com. Are you a movie lover? Statesville's Parks and Rec Department will be having their Movies in the Park series on Friday, July 28th. They will be playing Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Seating opens at 8 o'clock and the movie will begin at 8:45. Refreshments will be available. Everything is $1. Bring your blanket and lawn chairs and enjoy a movie in the park. For more info, visit statesvillenc.com. Do you enjoy making pottery? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius has Ceramics Open Studio. Select Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can become the clay artist you were always meant to be. You must register in person. For the full schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Grab your safety goggles for some mad science involving deadly cobras, irate Irishmen, and the occasional airship. Davidson community players will be presenting the Explorers Club on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through July. For more information on show times and to buy your tickets, visit davidsoncommunityplayers.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today. Your WSIC community calendar.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 66 and calm wind. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 91 and calm wind becoming west-southwest around 5 miles per hour in the afternoon. Tuesday night, cloudy with a low around 68 and calm wind. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 92 and calm wind becoming southwest around 6 miles per hour in the afternoon. Wednesday night, mostly clear.
The Statesville Family YMCA is gearing up for pickleball. Come enjoy this popular game weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. If the weather is too bad for kids attending summer camp to be outside, pickleball will be canceled. The Statesville Family YMCA, 828 Wesley Avenue.
Where the heart of Lake Norman lives. WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, welcome back to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. I am your host, Joe Berg, and if you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400. Got a ways to go here in today's show. I did have some breaking news come across here during the break, and this... I verbally went, I had my mics down, so if you were watching on the stream, you probably didn't hear me, but this one made me look at this piece of news and go, what? Really? All right, so this is an MLB story here. So there are 4 Colorado Rocky players that will be having Tommy John surgery this week. 4. Antonio Centalea, I probably said that wrong. And then Gabriel Hughes, Jackson Cox, and Jordy Vargas. All Colorado players, all Colorado Rockies players, and they're all having Tommy John surgery this week. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, where that many players from the same team are going to be having Tommy John surgery in the same week. Could it be the altitude? Is that it? Nah, it's not the altitude. All right, moving on here. There was another thing that I saw come across here a couple hours ago. This is the only NHL we're going to talk about today, so be happy you're getting your hockey fill if you're a hockey fan. But this regards the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canes have closed in on an agreement with free agent Tony DeAngelo on a 1-year deal worth $1.6 million. DeAngelo was bought out in the offseason. He now comes back to Carolina on a 1-year deal. And he's been around the league a little bit. Didn't work out for him in Philadelphia. Did it work out for anybody in Philadelphia this year? But he's back in Carolina this year on a 1-year deal. He had a pretty good season when he was with Carolina, played in 64 games, had 10 goals, 41 assists for 51 points, and he was a plus 30. So he gelled well with that team. He also had a pretty good playoff outing, 10 points in 14 games. But he was a minus 27 last year. And I mean, part of that has to do with the team he's on, but that is reflected in the contract that he just signed, only getting that 1 year, $1.5 million contract. We had NASCAR this weekend. We did. And it was at Pocono. Now, there's a lot to unpack with this race. Okay. Pocono put on a good show. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I'm glad that the track with 6 corners, 6 not 3, put on a good show, because normally, to be honest, it really doesn't. But it put on a good show this week, and we had some wrecks, we had some good passes, we had some racing for the lead, we had some rubbing. Is rubbing still racing? Okay. Like I said, there's a few things to unpack with this race. Now, first of all, we're gonna save the end of the race for a little bit later. I don't know if it's the cars, I don't know if it's the tires, I don't know if it's the chassis, but something needs to be done to where when somebody spins and doesn't wreck hard, they can still drive their car back to pit road. Remember the interliner tire when that became a thing, and tires wouldn't just shred apart all the time when they blew out and a driver would be able to limp it back around to the pits? I'm starting to be concerned with whether or not the interliner even does anything anymore, or if it's still on the tire, because we saw Joey Logano win stage 1, and then early in stage 2, on one of those crazy restarts that Pocono always produces, Joey got spun. And he didn't hit hard. He did ride the wall for a little bit. There were a couple of guys that hit hard behind him, like Suarez. But Logano should have been able to continue. And there's a video, because I can't play it because it's just filled with profanity, but there is a video from on board Joey Logano's car, and he is screaming at the track workers to get this thing hooked up and get me back to the pits because I can't drive the car anymore. Now, we have the damaged vehicle policy, and they made a point during the race to say that the damaged vehicle policy is not meant to keep cars who should be on track from getting back on track. It's meant to keep those guys who, like, let's say, just like Suarez, hit hard, car's not okay, they need to retire, you're done for the day. I don't know what they need to do, but the way that they brought Logano's car back to the pits, I mean, picking it up from the rear tires when obviously the front is a little bit messed up, it didn't work. You saw it. He couldn't meet minimum speed, and he had to retire the car. I don't know what we have to do. Maybe a little less downforce on these cars so they're actually off the ground. So, you know, if they do blow a tire or two, they're not dragging the entire car on the ground. I don't know. I'm not an expert on how to tow a car, but it just seems like there's a better way to do it. Okay, now on to the meaty stuff. So we get to stage number 3. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin are going to be battling it out. And there was an incident. Yep. Yet again, there was an incident between Denny Hamlin and another driver. Now, Denny Hamlin, if we remember last year, we talked about it. He ran Ross Chastain up into the wall late in the race and went on to win. He was later disqualified from the race for other reasons, but that's what happened last year. And now we get to this year, and Denny Hamlin does this.
Good push in the outside line. Reddick is not to the back of the 19. The outside line's going to have to speed the momentum down into turn 1.
Reddick not even close to the back of the 19. The 11 clears him, and now here comes Denny Hamlin to the inside for the lead through 1.
He runs the 5 wide, almost into the fence.
Up into the wall with the 5, and now
completely runs the 5 car of Kyle Larson out of room and into the fence. And we like I said, we've seen this happen before. This happened last year with Denny Hamlin and with Ross Chastain. Now, Denny and Chastain have had their differences on track. They've had quite a few run-ins, so it wasn't like anything crazy. But this was blatant. This was running somebody wide just because you have the inside and you want to push him up. And if you saw the video, if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, and you saw the video we just played, you can see him move up, hit Larson, and put him in the wall. Now, this is what Denny had to say after the race.
Both guys wrecked themselves. There was the lane. He missed the corner first, and evidently he didn't have his right side tires clean. And when he gassed up, he just kept going again. You have an option in those positions to either hold it wide open and hit the fence, or lift and race it out. But those are choices they made. I didn't hit either one of them.
Denny just had his Ricky Bobby moment. I don't know where he thinks he gets the ability to just say these outlandish things. Like, I didn't touch the guy, he wrecked himself. Who are you, Denny? You won 50 races, you don't have a championship. 7 of them, we got to give Denny the good. We got to talk about the good, because Denny is very good at Pocono. He was one of the guys that I said very well could win this week. He's got 7 wins there now. That broke the record for the most all-time. He was tied with Jeff Gordon. He now has 7 Pocono wins. But not like this. Not like this, Denny. I mean, and I'm going to play Kyle Larson's sound probably after the break here, because we are coming up fast on the break. But Larson had probably the best possible response to what Denny did. And if you want to hear that, make sure you stay tuned through the break. But Denny Hamlin wins the race. He's got plenty of wins on the year now. He's doing really good in the championship standings. You know who else is still doing good is Martin Truex Jr. Finished 3rd. He has got a 2nd, a 1st, a couple of bad finishes, and then another 1st and a 2nd and a 3rd. He's on fire recently. And I really do think that Truex could be the favorite for the championship. He now has a 30-point regular season advantage over William Byron. Denny Hamlin sits 2nd in the regular season points after that win, 55 behind, and Christopher Bell has fallen to 4th. Truex doesn't have many more races to hold on here. We're coming down to the end of the season very fast. And next weekend, we go to Richmond. That one's going to be a Sunday at 3 o'clock. The Cookout 400 laps from Richmond, a short track. And like I said, we have a variety of tracks coming up. Now we have Richmond, then Michigan, which is a 2-mile track, a couple of road courses, and then we end at Daytona. So it's not like there's ample opportunity for any driver to really build some momentum here on Truex. He's got a nice little 30-point lead. Now, 30 points isn't a lot, but when you look at the standings and the way that the year has been going, he might have this in the bag. Another driver that we want to talk about here before we go to commercial break is Chase Elliott. Man, oh man, has he had a rough one. Now, it was looking really bad, but he was able to salvage. And I'll tell you what, had Elliott not been able to capture that top 10 this week, we might be talking about, is Chase Elliott in a win or go home position? WSIC, the scoreboard with me, your host, Joe Berg. Got some more NASCAR sound coming up once we get back from break, so make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Local and North Carolina news now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC. News Talk Now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. Cornelius Today reporting that 6 Charlotte Mecklenburg creative individuals will receive $50,000 Mini Genius Awards as inaugural recipients of ASC Founders Grants. The grants represent the largest awards to individuals from ASC in the organization's 65-year history. Among the recipients is Cornelius resident Cameron Watson, the director of Inspire Inclusion Dance, a program for dancers with and without disabilities. And a person died after being hit by an Amtrak train in Raleigh Sunday night, police said. The incident was reported at around 9:20 p.m. along the railroad tracks near the Pullen Road Bridge crossing, which is between Pullen Park and North Carolina State University, according to the Raleigh Police Department. Police said an active death investigation is underway. Now, sports with Joe Berg.
Brian Harmon took the win in the Open Championship over the weekend. Also, over the weekend, Denny Hamlin won his 7th Pocono race, breaking a tie with Jeff Gordon for the most wins all time at that track.
WSIC weather, sunny today with a high of 88, partly cloudy tonight, the low 66, more sun for tomorrow with a high of 92. Mike Jackson, WSIC News.
Always ready to help you make it fun to work outside. Little Shavers Woodshop stocks up on all your wood, treated lumber, wood fencing, and all the treatment items to keep them looking great. PBG paints and stains, and add in some pine needles and Daddy Pete's mulch and soils, and your landscaping will be the best around. Tools, supplies, and just about all you need is ready for you at Little Shavers. Head on over to Little Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Highway, right in between Statesville, Morrisville, and Moxville. Visit LittleshaversWoodshop.com. That's LILShaversWoodshop.com.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your healthcare costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your healthcare costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-712-8085. 800-712-8085. That's 800-712.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. Our beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Lynn Honeycutt Funeral Home. Find us at DignityMemorial.com.
At the Y, sports and recreational activities are something special. Kids learn team sports in a supportive environment that enables them to engage in friendly competition, all while having fun. Summer sports include weeknight practices and games during the week. Academy and rookie sports camps will include sessions with volunteer coaches and one weekday session with a YMCA coach. Financial assistance is available. Come join the fun of summer sports at the Statesville Family YMCA, 828 Wesley Avenue.
How far will the left go to win 2024? Will they send out more stimulus checks or give away trillions more to left-wing groups? The simple truth is they don't care if your retirement is eroded down to a fraction of its value. They just want to win. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon. I want to encourage you to diversify your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into a physical gold IRA. And the only company I recommend for gold IRAs is conservative-owned Birch Gold Group. To learn more, text the word HEDGE to 989898 to get their free info kit on gold IRAs. Do this now before Democrats have a chance to legislate away your life savings. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting HEDGE to the number 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. So use your agency. Take action now. Text the word HEDGE to the number 989898.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
All right. Welcome back again to the Scoreboard here on WSIC, or should I say Joe versus the Thermostats show? Because, oh my God, it is hot in here yet again. 76 degrees inside the studio here. Trying to kill me out here. I'm going to have a what's it called? A heat stroke at some point. Couldn't figure out the name of it for a heat stroke. That's how hot it is in this studio. But we got it all squared away. It's cooling off now. WSIC, this is the Sports Board with me, Joe Berg. And if you'd like to call in, we always take phone calls, 704-873-1400. Talking a little bit of NASCAR here as we had the race at Pocono on Sunday. And we played the post-race interview from Denny Hamlin. I want to play it one more time because I just want everybody to hear the boos that are cascading down from the stands as Denny Hamlin basically says, I didn't do anything. Basically, I'm the best there ever was. You know, I wake up in the morning and that Ricky Bobby, that's what he just did. So without wasting any more time, here is Denny Hamlin yet again, basically saying I didn't do any wrong. And like I said, listen to the boos coming down from the stands.
Well, both guys wrecked themselves. There was the lane. He missed the corner first, and evidently he didn't have his right side tires clean. And when he gassed up, he just kept going again. You have an option in those positions to either hold it wide open and hit the fence, or lift and race it out. But those are choices they made. I didn't hit either one of them. Didn't touch.
Denny, you definitely did move Larson into the wall. And forgive me, but I don't remember if there was an earlier incident with Denny Hamlin putting somebody in the wall this race, or if he's referring to last year with the Ross Chastain incident. I hope he's not bringing back last year, because if he is bringing back last year, that just goes to show he's wrong. Because if you have to defend it for over a year, dude, you were in the wrong. And I think he knows it, and I hope he knows it. And it was funny listening to Kyle Larson's post-race interview. I have the sound here, so let's go ahead and hear what Larson has to say.
Just unfortunate, but I've been cost a lot of good finishes by him throughout my career, and I know he says I race a certain way, but I don't think I've ever had to apologize to him about anything. So, not that I'm sure he's going to say sorry after this, but is what it is. So, whatever, just move on. Try to go to, I don't even know where we're at next week, Richmond, I think, and I guess we won there earlier this year, so try and get a good run in. But thanks to the crowd here in Pennsylvania. I got a lot of support here in PA, so always love coming here.
And Larson pretty much said it. He said, Denny's always right. And that kind of feels like the attitude that Hamlin has had recently. He's been doing a lot more media stuff. He has a podcast now on, I'm pretty sure it's on Dale Jr.'s network. But Denny seems to think that he's become this voice for NASCAR. I don't know who gave him the okay to become the voice for. I don't know if anybody wants Denny Hamlin as the voice for NASCAR. And you heard Larson say it right there. It's almost like a known thing in the garage. Denny is not going to apologize. He's always in the right. He will always find a way to be correct. And it's just who are you, Denny? Seriously, at this point, Like, okay, you won, you put the guy on the wall. Maybe just apologize a little bit. Say, hey, I'm sorry, rubbing's racing, but Larson did absolutely nothing wrong the entire race. He got spun earlier. The fact that he was even in that position was a miracle to begin with. Larson didn't put Denny in the wall. He didn't rub it. He didn't turn him. He didn't do anything. No, Denny said, you know what? I'm going to send it off into one, sweep it up the track just a little bit, and guess what, Larson, you're in the wall. And he said, oh, you have a choice. You can gas it and hit the wall or lift. If he didn't hit him, Larson would have made the corner. It's plain and simple. Maybe Denny just can't see this because he thinks he's always in the right, but I'm a little heated about this because there's absolutely zero reason why Denny Hamlin should be defending the move that he made on Kyle Larson. And guess what? He continued to defend it. I'm going to have the question in here. Bob Pockris, in the actual press conference, post-race press conference, asked Denny about the move on Larson, and here was Denny's response.
Larson had said that he felt like it was kind of the same move that you did to Chastain last year.
Same move he made to Bubba? Did he mention that or no? Gotcha.
So, but do you feel like you raced him with respect?
We're racing for the win. Are you me? For sure. I mean, if I'm going to give anyone in the field respect, it's Kyle Larson. Just because of our, I respect him as a race car driver, and I think he's, probably the best. So certainly he's got my respect, but damn, I mean, we're all racing for a win, and I guarantee you, roles reverse, it goes the same way.
I don't know what Denny's talking about here. I mean, he's probably talking about a race earlier in the year when Larson put Bubba in the wall, and I feel like I remember that being at Las Vegas because Bubba came down off the wall and wrecked Larson, but this is weeks and weeks ago, and you have a history of doing this, Denny. You've done it twice in a row at the same track. What is that all about? And I mean, I don't know where he thinks that these things are okay. Like you said, I respect Kyle Larson. If anybody on the track deserves respect, it's Kyle Larson. Okay, so do you throw out all your respect once you're with 10 to go? Because that's basically what he did. He said, yeah, I respect him. He deserves respect on the racetrack. But it was at the end of the race, I should be able to wreck him for the win. That's basically what he said. Where does this come from and what lap? My question to Denny would have been, what lap does that respect go away and you just wreck the guy to win the race? Because obviously he made that decision in his head that I'm no longer going to respect Kyle Larson and the spot on the track that he is. So I'm going to wash up the racetrack. I'm going to hit him just enough to put him in the wall a little bit and sail off into the sunset. And that's what happened. This late in a race at Pocono, it's really hard to pass. You have to get the run. You probably need help. All Denny had to do after that final restart was stay exactly where Truex was. He stayed exactly where Truex was, and then guess what happened? Truex got passed, and then Denny could just drive into the sunset without a care in the world. I just don't get it. And somebody's going to have to do something at this point. I mean, I feel like last year everybody was on Denny's side with this whole Denny Chastain issue, but if somebody were to wreck Denny now, I feel like the crowd would have the exact same response that they had to Matt Kenseth when he wrecked Joey Logano at Martinsville late in the race a few years ago. If we remember that, taking a driver out, it just completely there was no question about it. I feel like that's coming in Denny Hamlin's way soon. And honestly, it would be well deserved because he has wrecked a lot of race and he never takes blame for it. We're going to try and cool down a little bit on the last segment here because it is a Monday and, we all want to get home safe on our Monday. So hopefully everybody is being safe out there on the road and not driving like Denny Hamlin. Make sure you stay tuned here to WSIC. This is the Scoreboard, 704-873-1400. If you'd like to call in for the last segment, I'll be right back.
something for everyone. WSIC. News, talk, now.
WSIC Community Calendar.
Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town.
I just want everybody listening to understand why I'm upset about this situation that we have in the studio with the thermostat. It was 77 degrees in here a couple of minutes ago. And if you're watching, you can see I like to stand up, because I get a little animated. And it contributes to the heat in this room. And, once that thing says 78 degrees, it's like, what are you going to do? It's not going to cool off in the next 5 minutes.
Refreshments will be available.
I just wanted to vent real quick. Enjoy the commercials.
Get in lawn chairs and enjoy a movie in the park. For more info, visit statesvillenc.com. Do you enjoy making pottery? Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius has Ceramics Open Studio. Select Tuesdays and Saturdays, you can become the clay artist you were always meant to be. You must register in person. For the full schedule, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Grab your safety goggles for some mad science involving deadly cobras, irate Irishmen, and the occasional airship. Davidson community players will be presenting the Explorers Club on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays through July. For more information on show times and to buy your tickets, visit davidsoncommunityplayers.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today. Your WSIC Community Calendar.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 66 and calm wind. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 91 and calm wind becoming west-southwest around 5 miles per hour in the afternoon. Tuesday night, cloudy with a low around 68 and calm wind. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 92 and calm wind becoming southwest around 6 miles per hour in the afternoon. Wednesday night, mostly clear.
Quality Car Care at 2040 Old Mountain Road is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. View their pre-owned inventory at QualityCarCareStatesville.com. 704-902-7678.
News Talk WSIC. Statesville, Lake Norman's most trusted news source.
All right, we got the final segment here today on the Scoreboard with Joe Berg. That's me, 704-873-1400. Give us a call. We got about 10 minutes or so left in the show today. So if you do call in, I'll be sure to pick it up, and we'll talk about sports, whatever you want to talk about. Even if it's not sports related, go for it. Maybe I can become like a therapist. This can be like a sports therapy show. I don't know. Are you upset? Did something happen at work? Call in. Let me know about it. I'll be your little therapist today. 704-873-1400. I mentioned in the first segment that I wanted to touch on a little bit more NFL news that I never really got to. So I'm going to touch on it now because we're in the last segment. We usually just kind of talk about whatever on the last segment. So we're going to bring this up. Several NFL running backs took part in a Zoom call on Saturday to discuss the depressed market for players at their position. Players including Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, and the meeting was apparently organized by Austin Eckler of the LA Chargers. Now, the first thing that I'm going to notice about this list of players is half of them got paid already. Yeah, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, they got paid. So I'm a little bit confused as to why they would want to hold this meeting. Now, Eckler, Barkley, and Jacobs, I get. I completely understand it. But they came to the correct conclusion, and I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if there is a way to fix this. So Nick Chubb said, right now, there's really nothing we can do. We're kind of handcuffed with the situation. We're the only position that our production hurts us the most. If we go out there and run for 2,000 yards with so many carries, the next year they're going to say, you're probably worn down. It's tough. It hurts us at the end of the day. He hit the nail right on the head. Because he's right. If you run for 2,000 yards and you have 300 carries in a season, that's a lot of wear and tear on the body. And you are very productive. You are great. But let's say you're 26 years old in a contract year and you run for 1,500 yards. Maybe you have a little bit of injury history. Is a team really going to want to give $12, $13, $14, $15 million a year to a running back whose production is more than likely going to drop off in the next year or two? The last time a running back signed a long-term contract worth $10 million or more was the Browns' Nick Chubb in 2021. He said, I know it can be me one day. I'm just kind of playing both sides. I'm here for my team, but I'm also understanding the situation I could be in. Christian McCaffrey is currently the highest paid back, averaging just over $16 million per season in the contract that he signed with the Panthers in the year 2020. And that kind of seems like the last time that we really thought about the running back position as a multiple contract position. Now, like I said, the only thing that I can think of, now this won't help the production issue where if you have a really good year at the age 26, they're probably going to say, all right, go on, move on. You used up all your good, because that doesn't happen a lot. You know, we think of guys like Derrick Henry. He's an anomaly. Adrian Peterson, back when he was playing, he was an anomaly. And the only way, like I said, the only way I can think to fix this is to change the length of the rookie salary and length for running backs. Now, I know it's going to be a little bit weird, and we have a CBA to go by, and it's going to take some time to get here. But could we see in the future, let's say you're a first-round pick as a running back, instead of having the normal 4 years plus a possible 5th year that the team can tack on, what if we said all running back positions have a 3-year contract? You cannot add a 4th year. You have to sign them after that year. Or 2 years. And we can do 2 years, and then the team can decide if they want a 3rd year. The only reason I bring this up is because I don't know if the running back market would really go for this, because they wouldn't have as long of a guaranteed contract as other positions, because for the most part, rookie contracts are pretty well guaranteed. I know Bryce Young, fully guaranteed contract as a rookie. And instead of getting those 4, possibly 5 years, you would only get 2, maybe 3 years as a rookie. Now, it's a little different because let's say you do have a really bad injury in those 2 years, a team can then go say, you got hurt, plus you had a lot of production, a lot of usage. We don't want you. We're going to let you go. You could run into the same problem. Now, I don't know what the solution is. Like I said, I'm just kind of spitballing ideas. If anybody has a better idea as to how these running backs can be happy, 704-873-1400. And look, Nick Chubb is not wrong at all. High production for a running back hurts their value. As weird as that might sound. Now, during the season, while you're playing, no, it doesn't hurt their value. But once that contract is over, if they see that you average 270, 300 carries a year, 1,500 yards like Derrick Henry, who's the anomaly, but let's say it's not Derrick Henry. You know, we have Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley to pull for. Are you going to get that contract? I don't think they will. And I don't know what Barkley's going to do. I don't know what Jacobs is going to do. I would assume that they're going to play because the deadline to sign an extension is gone. So there's really no use in sitting out a year unless the only reason that you would sit out a year is to get to the free agency. That way you're not a franchise tag player. That way you are completely in control of where you go as long as another team wants you. But I don't think we should be having players sit out. I don't think there's any. Now, maybe they can restructure the running back franchise tag so that they get a little bit more money, like maybe $12 million instead of 10. But I always come back to this point. We're arguing over $2, $3, $4 million a year. You're already going to be making 10. Is it not enough? I mean, I get that you want to be paid your fair share and your worth, and that completely makes sense. But the way the market is, you're playing a position where you're easily replaceable. And we see it all the time. Chiefs get Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round, and he helps lead that team to a Super Bowl championship. Zeke Elliott, number 6 overall pick. Tony Pollard comes in. Sorry, Zeke. Pollard's younger, less wear and tear on his body. He's going to be our running back now. Saquon Barkley, is he not looking over his shoulder a little bit? He could lose his job. Even if he wants to come back, he could lose his job. The Giants front office does not strike me as one who would welcome him back with open arms if he misses the first two games. If he misses the first 3 games. 4 games, however many games he wants to miss. I don't think Daboll is going to be happy about that. And I wouldn't if I was a head coach. No, you abandoned your team. Why would we just let you walk back in here like nothing happened? And that's another thing is what kind of culture does your team have? If Saquon Barkley sits out, well, Giants culture has been dead the past few years. But last year it started to get revived. Would he be allowed to walk back into that building after missing games? I mean, contractually, if he signs that franchise tag, they'll let him in, but they don't have to play him. I wouldn't. And I'm just talking if they sit out games. If Saquon, if Josh Jacobs decides to sit out, let him sit out the whole year. They didn't want to play in the first place. And the franchise tag, I mentioned it last week, it hurts the running backs the most because it just pushes out for another year until you have a chance to sign a long-term contract. And now you'll be 28 with another year under your belt. Even more wear and tear. It's like a double-edged sword. If you perform really well, by the time you're due that contract, they're not going to want you because of the wear and tear. But if you don't perform well, then you're going to get cut for poor performance. I wish that I could come up with this magical way for everybody to be happy, for players to be happy, for the team to be happy, for the fans to be happy. Because I don't think the fans are happy about this. I'm not. It's a lot to deal with here. We got to worry about which running back is going to be here, which one's not going to be here. Why aren't they getting paid? Why don't they want their money? If Josh Jacobs steps away for a year, that's $10 million that they're never going to get back. Why would they do that? If it's all about making sure that you get paid, which is what it comes down to at the end of the day, it really does not come down to, I just want to make sure the next guy gets the respect he deserves. No. Cut it out. I tried to calm down for the final segment here. I tried. I did. We got off the NASCAR. We went right back to football. And once again, I'm annoyed. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be a little bit happier, in a better mood, and we could talk about happy things. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe we have a big record maybe Shohei Ohtani will get traded today, and we can have a very happy day tomorrow talking about Shohei Ohtani and getting traded. We'll talk about the MLB tomorrow, though, but that's it. We all the time we have for today here on WSIC. This has been the Sports Board with me, Joe Berg, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place.
the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.